Señorita. Señorita. Let me see you going like you're going to Colombia. Dun, dun, dun. Let's go. We are live. I need to stop in it. You know it's 12:41 in the UK. 12:41 p.m. Hey, what's that? Beautiful people, everybody double tap the screen, guys. Look here, look here, look here, look here. Let's go. Wait, what's this? Oh, are we live? Yes, we are. Delulu activated. No, señorita, no. What did I say that they were like, no, you shouldn't say that? What did I say? That must have been from like Narcos, you know. I probably learned that word from Narcos. Hermosa. No, what did I say? You know, I said something and then it was like a bad word. It was like, what did I say? I know another one. This is from Narcos as well. Mátalo ahora. Mátalo. Mátalo. Shouldn't I say it? No. We love you. Te amo, TikTok. Te amo. You said calate. No, I didn't. Did I say calate? I said something else. Oh yeah, sorry. Te amo. Te amo, TikTok. Te amo. Did I say? Oh yeah, I did say that. I said, come mierda. That's what I said. Carmelina. Sorry, Carmelina. Who's that? What? Carmelina. Say, hey, excuse me. Are you guys teaching me bad words? Say, Cacaracha. What does that mean? Sweet potato, you didn't, did you? You didn't, did you? You're not teaching me bad words, are you? What happened? What did I say to Carmenina? Why are you guys making me... What did I say? I know, I'm just joking, sweet potato. Oh. Okay. We are live. We are live on YouTube. No, I said, I guess in Spanish. For you to say, I hope you didn't get... Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me see if this is working. Hello. Okay. We are live. We are live on YouTube. No, I said, I guess in Spanish. That's fine. Okay, that's okay. No problem. No problema. Let's go. Beautiful people, if you want to see the live, come and join us on YouTube. Drop me a follow. Drop me a subscription. Subscribe on YouTube. Let's go, guys. Everybody, double tap the screen, guys. Share the live for me, please. Everybody, double tap the screen. Let's get to 10k likes and we're going to start. 10k likes and we're going to start. Let's go, guys. Everybody, double tap the screen for me, please. Share the live. Let's go. I'm going to share the live as well. You know, I didn't share the live today to too many people. But I'm going to share the live now. Actually, not to that person. Let's share the live to a couple people. Drop me a wave if you're here. Let's go. Todo está bien. I know that. Está bien. What happened? Are you making me say a bad word again? Todo está bien. Are you here, Amira? I can't even see the chat on YouTube. What's going on with that? Okay, sweet potato, let's go. Sweet potato live, Christmas fairy is here. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna start. Hey, you know what? I'm excited for this.
What Israel does in the world, it becomes very hard to understand them. Bombing cities to rubble, forced mass expulsions, false flag operations, riots defending grape culture, and extreme systematic oppression. You see, there are many notable areas of Israeli brutality we could cover, but today we are going to focus on the daily terror happening in the Palestinian West Bank. Right now, over 700,000 illegal Israeli settlers are currently taking over internationally recognized Palestinian land, and these settlers are backed by the Israeli military, armed by American guns, and funded in part by Zionist Christian church donations. Folks, this episode is brutal. We are covering mob violence, arson, farmers being attacked, animals being tortured for fun, and we even interview an American dad whose son was beaten to death by Israeli settlers. To uncover the truth, we sat down with those that have seen and lived this firsthand. You are going to hear from former U.S. Marines, Palestinian Americans, an IDF soldier, and even a Jewish survivor of Nazi occupation who now speaks out against Israel. Folks, we have the raw footage to back up everything I'm about to tell you. However, we have to edit it carefully as most of it is too horrific to be allowed on YouTube. Folks, a quick disclaimer. I love my life, I love my family, and I am in perfect health. Another thing to address is we know this video is going to be shadow banned hard. So I'm asking you, the viewer, to help me fight against the algorithm. Hit the like button, write a comment, and imagine every single one of these actions as a salute against this Israeli behavior. Let's dive into the video. Folks, I'm about to go ask some people that have had boots on the ground experiences in the West Bank, but to prepare for these interviews, I'm going to use a partner of the channel, the sponsorship of today's episode, Straight Arrow News, the information happening in this world. So now that I have my research, let's head into these interviews and see what's going on.
What about now? I don't want you guys to hear me breathe.
My name is Kamel. I'm a U.S. American citizen. My son Saif, who was also an American citizen, was beaten to death by Israeli settlers. I want people to get an idea of what life is like in Palestine and in your village in Sinjar, where this all happened. You get up in the morning, you gotta find out where's the checkpoints that day. This is how it is, Tommy. They can put a barrier anytime that they want. Looks like they're closing the road here because they have a gate in front of this village of Turmus Aya, and anytime they want to close it, they close it. Last night, they had this new road that we made between my village and a neighboring village. They were happy about this road, man. It's all new asphalt put on this road. The Israeli authority came, just demolished the whole road. With a bulldozer. With the bulldozer. Just because, basically. They just want to make life as hard as they can on the Palestinians. In an area, we could say about the size of Delaware, that this land is, that they have 702 checkpoints set up. And only growing.
They're not just evil, they're evil, devilish level. Yeah, that is.
I'm Mohammed Daoud. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm a security provider, and I'm the co-founder of PalShield. My name is Bilal Daoud. I'm a cybersecurity specialist, and I'm a co-founder of PalShield, where we track settler violence and protect Palestinian communities.
The topic of this story is life under Israeli occupation.
Tommy G.
Do you think that's a fair title?
Tommy G.
Perfect title for what we're all dealing with in the West Bank.
And what makes it life under occupation?
Everything from as simple as wanting to get to school, say building a well, and water scarcity, it's the Middle East, so the water under your feet is regulated and watched by the Israeli authorities.
I'll tell you how many stories we know on a personal level of women like giving birth on a checkpoint because they wouldn't clear them to go to the hospital. I mean, it's just crazy.
What do you think the Israeli goal is in all of this?
Displacement, land theft. In the context of Palestine today, they want it all without the Palestinians. So they want the land without the people.
They are extremely calculated, and they know how to slowly push people out.
So that guy will claim to be a religious, a religious Jew, right? And he's supporting, and he's supporting the Zionist government, where in his own book they can't have a government before the Messiah comes. So it's like the Christian Zionist, which does not make sense whatsoever. Like these individuals, they don't make sense as well. It's just absolutely wild. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it.
My name is Clyde. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran Christian who visited Palestine to expose the truth of what's going on, and I'm here to expose the truth of Christian Zionism in America. As soon as you drive in, it is clear as day. Like I said, you can see the difference between the Palestinian village, and it would have barbed wire fences around it. They would cordon them off and literally block them in. So like a village would be its own little camp, its own like kind of concentration camp. And at times the Israeli military will go in and they'll lock those gates up so that the Palestinians literally can't leave their village. Once they get out of their little village, if the gate's open, they leave. I used to think it was 700, but I just confirmed it's over 900 checkpoints within the West Bank. And the West Bank is a tiny plot of land. The whole of the Holy Land is like the size of New Jersey. The West Bank is a tiny little chunk of that. Research can only paint so much of a picture. When you go there, it's completely different. You see it firsthand, you feel it firsthand, and how it actually literally is an open air prison.
Folks, to understand the modern settler movement, let me take you back to 1968. Meet Rabbi Moshe Levinger. For him, evicting hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to build the land of Israel was not enough. He wanted more land. So he organized a militant following that had one clear mission: cross over the border and take the West Bank. So he brought his radical crew to the city of Hebron and went to an Arab innkeeper and said they would be spending one night to celebrate a peaceful Passover tradition. But in typical Israeli fashion, he lied. In fact, his crew woke up the next morning and declared that this inn was theirs and that the hotel owner needed to leave. And at this point, they were surrounded by the Palestinians that actually lived there, and Rabbi Levinger put the Israeli government in a pickle. They could decide to drag Levinger's crew out by force, or they could send in the military to protect them. And afraid of the terrible optics of evicting illegal squatters, the Israeli government sent in the military. And folks, this is the same playbook that you see in use today. Israeli settlers will lie, cheat, and take by force land that is not theirs, play the victims, and then call in the IDF to protect them.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
And to be clear, to everyone except for Israelis and Zionists, this is known as breaking international law. This land is not theirs.
And there are currently 144 settlements in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, all illegal under international law.
But just look at how Israeli far-right leader Ben-Gvir feels about the way that they take over land. This guy is actually
Ben-Gvir, yeah. If you want to see evil, look at two people, Bibi and Ben-Gvir. You know, I said this yesterday, and I will continue to say this every single day, remind you guys of this. They passed a law that means they are able to give the death penalty to Palestinians, right? For example, if there's a Jewish person that has done the same crime, they don't get the death penalty. But if that person is Palestinian, they get the death penalty. What does that remind you, by the way, guys? There was a certain individual that was, picking a group of people and doing certain things to them. And them alone, right? It reminds you of somebody, right? Guy famous for his mustache. Or lack of mustache. From the two sides. Ben-Gvir is a piece of shit. I don't swear. I never swear. Never do I swear. But to the people that deserve it, I'm not going to hold back. You guys know me from all these lives that we've done. When have I ever swore? Never. But I can't hold it when it comes to scumbags like that. When it comes to scumbags like this guy. And you know when they approved it, by the way, they approved it in the parliament, and he popped champagne and he started to hand it over. He was having a massive celebration with his friend Dumbo, another scumbag. Trash. I'm not gonna say what you said, sure, but I agree.
broadcasting the Israeli plan to the world. It's an equation that involves supremacy, forced evictions, and the military
mustache.
bulldozing the generational homes of the Palestinians. And folks, in a way, we are the ones enabling it. Because right now, both our tax dollars and our American weapons are being used to do this by our so-called greatest ally.
And so in the West Bank, it's total occupation. I'm sure you've heard of the Area A, B, and C.
By splitting these areas into areas A, B, and C, they established different rules for these different areas. So areas A, you didn't have any Israeli authorities in there. You had the Palestinian Authority. Areas B, where we live, is under Palestinian civil administration. So, for example, we have a village council. But in terms of
security control, that's all under Israel. Even though Area A is technically supposed to be under full PA authority, we know, well, it's not, because these areas get raided all the time by the Israeli Defense Forces.
The ones who live in the PA have their own area I can go in. They can come into the joint area.
So Area A, there's no IDF, there's no settlers.
There is IDF operations targeting terrorists, and that's in and out, but not a presence. You want to have IDF presence in those areas.
The IDF's purpose in the West Bank, not only as an occupation force, but is solely to protect the settlers that are living there. Since the 60s, 70s, the settlers have become more militarized, and you have a good solid, I don't want to exaggerate, between 50 to 100,000 armed men, right? Settlers, these guys are many of them are probably IDF reservists as well. So you have a clash. I mean, it's not a conflict of interest because it is the same goal. We see the settlers in the army as one and the same.
The Hilltop Youth.
This is gonna test my patience, this video. I mean, in the West Bank, by the way, there's no Hamas before they start saying things. And this is a big sort of talking point where they always say, why is the IDF there? There's no Hamas there. But they are literally, like this person said, they are literally there to protect the settlers. The people that are occupying other people's land, other people's homes, they are there to protect them. So again, for those of you who think that, oh, maybe that group is in the West Bank, there's no, they're not in the West Bank. And every single day there is things going on in the West Bank on a regular basis. People are being unalived in the West Bank as well. And again, they're not just doing this to the Muslim population. People keep on forgetting that there's Christians there as well, and they are doing this to the Muslims, the Christians as well. They're both. Yes, predominantly because there's more Muslims than Christians there, they're doing it to the Muslims. But again, in Gaza, one of the oldest churches was literally desecrated. By who? And then you got Zionist pastors. Come on. How does that make sense? Seriously. It does not make sense, especially after you read what they think of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. There's no justification other than you've sold your soul. You don't care about your religion. You've taken the money. You're happy with the money that you've got, and you're basically not going to say anything that contradicts what they say, even if it is something that is contradicting your beliefs. Go figure. And these people still have halls that are sold out, not sold out, but like halls that are completely full to the brim. People still go in week after week and listening to these people. I mean, how many times? I think Candace was the one that aired one of the pastors. He had like everybody on stage. There was probably 15 people on stage. This guy had every single one of those people have Israeli flags, and he didn't even talk about his belief. He literally gave a speech about Israel and the love for Zionism, and that is crazy. That's actually wild. It just does not make sense. And shout out to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson for always calling these people out. Because, they are claiming to be Christians, they are claiming to be their brothers and sisters in their faith, and they're doing all of this. So it's good that people are calling them out, and they should be called out, because this is nothing but a fraud. It does not make sense. There is no way that you can tell me a Christian can be a Zionist. There's no way. Number one reason is the way that they speak about Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. Ben Shapiro, he went on the Joe Rogan podcast and he said, Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. Again, I don't want to utter exactly what he said, because as a Muslim, I have, immense love and respect for Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. I can't be a Muslim without believing in Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, and the Virgin Mary. So I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he basically said that Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, was somebody that rebelled, let's say. He was basically, just rebelled, and he got what he deserved. That's literally what he said.
Are they employed? How do they have the time to just stand around all day to wait for a Palestinian vehicle?
They're paid. Also, they like to swap them out like every few months too, to kind of get some new blood.
Stop it!
Let's dive deeper into the...
By the way, guys, so I was waiting for this video for a couple days, and it was uploaded today. It's been uploaded for an hour, and there's a good possibility that it may get from the platform. So let's go. Perfect timing. Literally, when I went on, it said it was uploaded an hour ago. So perfect timing.
Hilltop Youth. They are largely made up of Israeli high school dropouts, and many are known to have learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. These guys...
Amira says, I've seen them with my own two eyes. Some are taught to be against Muslims, and they wore a biblical. What is biblical, and this is what is supposed to happen. Again, they are trained to hate the Muslims, as you're saying, Amira. And actually, when people start to realize and actually do their own research, they find out, hold on a second, the very people that we've been told to hate, they say peace be upon him. You know how many messages I get because I always say Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. Or, for example, when we talk about the Virgin Mary, we say peace be upon her. Do you know how many messages people are like, I love the fact that you say that. Like, people are saying, I'm not Muslim, but I love the fact that Muslims say that about Jesus and the Virgin Mary. And so many people are learning so much as, I'm a Muslim, a lot of people are Christian, so they don't want this unity, the unity towards the love that we have for Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. We have our differences. We can agree to disagree. There's going to be some things that you guys are never going to accept of mine, and I'm likewise. But when we have respect for one another and we have difference of opinion, but we're still together in certain things, they hate that. This is what literally scares them. Not, oh, this person's got this much money, this person's got this much power, he's got this weapon, that weapon. Unity is the biggest thing that they are scared of. Sweet Potato says that's how I tax dollars, paying for their education. Exactly. Man. Carmenina on TikTok says every Muslim I have ever known are not radicalized. They're peaceful people. And this is the thing, Carmenina. Yes, Muslims, as any nation, as any group, as any religious group, they have their extreme people that have just lost their minds. They're taking things out of context, doing things that have nothing to do with the religion. But every community has that. I mean, isn't it just strange to you guys that a lot of the time it's the Muslims that are always the ones that are being attacked, and people are waking up to this, and this is the beautiful thing that's going on. People are waking up to this. Even Megyn Kelly, right, was saying on Tucker Carlson's interview. I was shocked when she said that. When she said this, I was shocked. She said maybe the spoon feeding of hatred towards Muslims needs to be studied. Meaning the hatred that was spoon fed by these individuals, by these organizations, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board and actually do our own research and look, is this really true? Or is there something there? Do they want us to hate each other for a reason? People are waking up and this is the worst thing for them. So again, and this is why all the time, guys, when we end the live, what do I say? May God guide us. We always need the guidance of God. And may God protect us. Guide us on what? So that we know how to live our life as human beings. And we live this life doing the things that God wants us to do. Protection from what? These scumbags, these bad and evil people, especially to the beautiful children of this world, the future of this world. May God protect them all, because these evil individuals, they go for the pure, you know, the angels of this world, the future of this world. They always go for them. This is why they're sick individuals. You know, me and you, when we watch maybe a video that has a baby or a child, right? We're smiling, we're laughing because it's a cute video, right? Can you imagine there's people in this world that when they see videos like that, they think different things? Yeah, with these people, you know what they should do? You see that fire there? Put them in that fire now. And I swear to God, if I don't eat my popcorn without hesitation and looking directly in their eyes while they're there, I'm a scumbag. I will watch them like I'm watching a movie. Because they deserve this. And again, may God protect all of us, especially the beautiful children, babies, our women, elderly, disabled, all of us. May God protect us all.
Believe the West Bank is their divine right promised to them by God. And they follow radical leaders like Mayor Ettinger, guys who extremist networks are tied to horrific crimes like firebombing a Palestinian couple and their 18-month-old baby to death. And guys, sheep are the secret weapon of the Hilltop Youth. You see, they bring their sheep to graze on Palestinian land, and then they violently attack any Palestinian that comes near them, and thus begins the takeover of the land. And this approach works. Since October 7th, settlers have permanently expelled 76 different Palestinian communities. And it's so out of control that even the head of Israel's own intelligence agency, the Shin Bet, has publicly condemned their actions as, quote, Jewish terrorism. They said it, not me. And folks, despite this, the Israeli military continues to help them with their crimes.
I know that the settlers have little militia groups, so it's a joint effort from the Israeli military, the Israeli police, and the settlers. So when settlers go in and they harass the Palestinians, the military is not going to come in and intervene and stop the settlers from killing or damaging property. They're going to enable it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw that video of that settler who beat the woman over with a stick.
You got it. Oh, come on, don't hit her! Hey! Oh my God. Hey!
She was just harvesting olives, bro.
During the olive harvest, for many Palestinian families, is like one of their main sources of income throughout the entire year. And so the first thing that Israeli settlers will do is they'll attack those crops. They'll burn those trees down. They'll attack livestock. They will drive their ATVs in grazing areas and run over livestock. They'll force a family away from while they're harvesting their olives, and then steal the bags that are already been filled. I mean, it doesn't stop with them. Anything you can imagine they do, they do.
Is it encoded into the psychology of an Israeli to hate the Palestinians?
Yeah, it's ingrained in their society from birth.
אמצע. רחוק אותם? פצצת אטום, כדי שנחיה. ערבי טוב זה ערבי.
They're so brainwashed that they believe stealing Palestinian land is the right thing to do.
For those that think it's ridiculous to label Israel as an apartheid state, don't take it from me, take it from the words of a man that literally invented the system of apartheid in South Africa, their Prime Minister, Hendrik Verwoerd.
Our policy is one which is called by an Afrikaans word apartheid.
When asked about Israel, he bluntly stated, Israel, like South Africa, is an apartheid state. And that's from the OG of apartheid. Folks, we're talking about miles of fences, segregated road systems, and military force being used to bulldoze and kick people off their own land. I mean, it even goes as
yeah, miles of fences, checkpoints everywhere. Oh, we didn't know what was going to happen in October 7th. Come on. Yeah, we had no idea that this was going to go down. Yeah, we've got so many ways of you know, spying and finding people, but no, we didn't know anything about this. Again, it's crazy because people are not falling for it, but at the same time, even though we know this, what happens? What happens? I swear to God, you know that video, Amira saying it's gonna make me cry. I swear to God, when I saw that video just now, it gave me the scumbag. Like, what can I say? It's either I'm gonna go crazy and just start swearing the whole thing, or I'm just gonna have to keep it down a notch and just keep calm and continue with this video, because you can't. There's no justification. There's no what can I say? What can I say? That is disgusting. That is disgusting. And again, it's to do with human life, right? They don't value human life. This is what I'm talking about. They don't see you as equal. They are here and you are all the way down there. And that's why they can easily do this. Easily do this. No problem. Oh, babies are being unalived. Okay. Look at all of the interviews that some of these politicians and everything in this place give. Oh, there's reports of, you know, aid workers from different nations, from America, press that has been unalived. Oh, it's war. This is their justification. Even in war, there's rules that you need to follow, and they have not followed any. Which one have they followed? Have they followed the law of, for example, not attacking hospitals? Where? Oh no, there's tunnels underneath. And this is why when I used to do my Omni TV lives, I would always ask them that question, because I wanted to show the people that were watching, do they value human life? And every single one of these soldiers, they showed and they proved that they didn't. Every single one of them. When I asked a very simple question, if there was a bad person in a building full of your own people, Jewish people, but there was one bad person, he is the worst in the world. Yeah? If you take him out, you're going to be good. Would you take him out? Yes. Yes. They would literally say yes. And then another one as well. Do you know what? Matter of fact, I always say this, but let me remind you guys, because maybe some people are going to say, you're just making this up. I'll play one, because it's private on my it's private on my thing, because it keeps on getting taken down. It's private, but I'll play it for you guys just quickly. Give me just 2 seconds. Let me find this. Oh, thank you so much, David. Give me 2 seconds and I'll find it. You guys are going to hear it on TikTok. Okay. Okay, I'll look. Wait. Get this one. I'll play all 3 of them, actually. They're really short. This one's a little bit of a okay.
Not come and kill us.
As a Zionist, you just said that if somebody comes and attacks your home, you would take arms and you would go and attack them, yes?
Yes.
So you understand what the Palestinian people are doing then?
That video of mine got like 1.7 million views, and then I lost my account. It was like 1.7, 1.8 million. This one, yeah, look at this one. This is one of their little soldiers.
You're saying that in order to save innocent civilians...
Can you guys hear it, by the way? Can you guys hear? Is it... Wait, 2 seconds. Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't... It's very low for some reason.
You need to take out innocent civilians.
Yes, because you're going to take out less innocent civilians than you're going to save. Less than you're going to save.
What do you want me to say to that? That doesn't
make
sense.
No, because you know I'm right. You know I'm right. If you're going to take out less people, then it's going to be saved from taking out those people. Then if you don't kill them, then you're going to be responsible for more deaths. Right? Right?
You're saying...
You hear that? This is the mindset. Okay, how do you sit down then? Then tell me. How do you sit down and then you speak to this person rationally if he's got this mindset? You can't. You can't. How can you? Crazy. Crazy. Where's the other one? And then we'll resume on the video. This one, you know, this guy was the only one that was it feels like he didn't want to be there. But again, I don't have any sympathy for him. But this is the only guy out of all of those lives that I would do that was a little bit like, you know, he's given up at this point. Because he himself knows what he's doing is wrong. Listen.
Wrong because look, to get one person, regardless of who he is, you cannot kill innocent people. For you to openly admit that you would take out a whole, even Jews, right? To take out a whole apartment block of innocent Jewish people to get to one bad man is a very bad mindset. Because it just shows that there's no... Life is not sacred for you guys, for example. Killing innocent life doesn't really affect you. This is what I get from this. Am I wrong to say that?
No. Listen, maybe I'm the bad guy here, you know?
I don't want to break the news, but
this whole war thing.
Unfortunately, you are. And
listen, I never claimed to be a good guy.
You need to think about your act.
Yeah. Anyway. You guys heard that, right? On YouTube and TikTok. Yeah.
As far as people are getting the shit kicked out of them for praying or for trying to attend a funeral of one of their friends or family members that was killed by the Israelis. This is simply how life is in the West Bank.
By the way, these lives that I was doing was probably like a month after October 7th. I had one of the most viral videos on October the 8th that I made. It was at like 3.8 million views. I'm trying to find that video. I can't find it anywhere. It's not... it's my phone that I had at the time is broken, completely broken. Tried to fix it to get that video. I can't get the video. These are the only ones that I saved, and I just happened to find them. So that's all I have. If I find anything, I'll show you guys, because I do remember having a couple more clips and stuff.
My name is Ido Amiaz, aka the Saluki. My mission is to continue the work that I'm doing, my journalism in the occupied West Bank, and to demonstrate life under occupation. I've sacrificed quite a bit. In fact, I was taken by Israel and I was held in a mental institution for 17 days. They made a claim that because I'm going around the West Bank, this was at the very beginning of the genocide after October 7th, that I'm out of my mind and that I'm a risk to myself. If you're a risk to yourself or a risk to others, then you may be hospitalized, according to Israel. So I was held in a mental hospital, and the only way I got out of there is by dropping about $10,000 on lawyers.
Folks, we are told by our government and mainstream media that one of the reasons we have to support this behavior is because Israel is the only remaining bastion of democracy in the Middle East.
The UN was obsessively hostile towards Israel, the one true democracy in the Middle East.
But let me ask you this. Do you think it's democratic to have the reputation of killing more journalists in this conflict than ever before in history? And ask the Israeli citizens, are you not being censored from publishing videos of missile strikes in your own city? And finally, let's talk.
Beautiful people on TikTok, we are live on YouTube, guys. You can see the whole, you can see me as well. You can see the video clearly. So go onto YouTube, EAB World. I'm going to stop going onto YouTube. I'm going to stop going on TikTok lives. The only reason I'm on TikTok live now is because I'm trying to get you guys to come over to YouTube. So if you go on YouTube, EAB World, come and watch the live here, guys. And by the way, you guys watching, beautiful people, please like the live stream on YouTube, please. You guys can like it. There's like a like button. I don't know exactly where it is, but I can see it should be right next to the chat.
Talk about the press, both foreign and Israeli. It is well known that they have to submit their stories to the IDF censor department to get approved, and that this department has the power to kill any story that they don't want coming out. This is the democracy that we're fighting for?
One of the worst things I've heard or seen, a dear friend of mine, Auda Haslin, he was shot by an Israeli settler. What was his crime? The Israeli settlers brought equipment to tear down houses and olive trees within his village, and him and some of the Palestinians, I'm not sure if even he did, threw rocks at them in retaliation, and he caught a bullet. Guess what happened to the Israeli settler? Nothing. He was 3 days in house arrest, and now he's walking free. Inon Yelevi, his name is. This sense of entitlement and superiority is prevalent in the average Israeli. Obviously, if you go somewhere like Tel Aviv or Haifa, where people are more chill, then they wouldn't have a problem with Palestinians, and they might believe in a two-state solution. But at the end of the day, the majority of Israel is not Tel Aviv and Haifa, where people are more open-minded and left-leaning. The majority of Israel are cities like Ashdod, like Nahariya, where I was born, where people do think that they're simply better than other people.
What are some examples of the things that Israeli settlers are doing to people right now?
We could start with, burning the land, burning crops, burning homes, throwing rocks at vehicles, sometimes fire bombs, sometimes shooting at these vehicles. You might have a...
I'm definitely going to check that guy's YouTube channel out. And maybe tomorrow we can react to a couple of videos. Yeah. I would love to go and visit, the obviously the Al-Aqsa Mosque is a sacred place for us Muslims. It's a sacred area for, all the Abrahamic faiths. I would love to go and visit. Let's see. There's a group that goes for the pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia, the Hajj, to Mecca and Medina, but they also have trips to Istanbul and trips to Jerusalem. So you never know. Maybe in the first quarter, guys. First quarter of 2026. Live. Let's see. Hopefully. I would love to visit. Yeah, because I am planning to go for, it's called Umrah, so it's like it's not the big pilgrimage, but it's still something that we Muslims, we go to Mecca and then we go to Medina in Saudi Arabia, the two holy sites, and then the tour is a good family friend of ours that owns the company. They have trips to Istanbul because obviously there's a lot of tension, so they've stopped going, but let's see, possibly. Possibly EAB family field trip. Yeah, in real life with EAB. In real life with EAB. Because one of the other reasons why I want to go as well, the Palestinians there, when they see people coming from abroad, they absolutely love it. You know, they absolutely love it, and then they encourage it as well. They always say things like to the people, please come again. You know, please, because when people, regardless of what's happening, are still going there, they're still visiting, it's not about the money. Oh, you're spending your dollars or your pounds. It's not about that. You're showing that you're going there regardless, right? You're showing that regardless of what happens, you go in there and you're visiting these sites and you're not scared of this. Again, we're not going there for anything. We're going there as a holy site. We want to visit it. We want to see it. We're peaceful people, unlike certain individuals and certain people. So we're peaceful people. We would love to go and visit. I would love to go and visit, definitely. Yeah, Amira, who wants to come? Who wants to come? You know, EAB family, let's go. EAB family doing a field trip. That would be great. Hey, if some of you can join as well, that would be amazing.
A Palestinian ambulance, and they'll literally pull up in front of the ambulance and slow down. These are just basic Israeli settler civilians, hoping that the person injured or whatnot would essentially die off. It's a loathing and a hatred that I don't think I've seen really in any other version of, like, any other conflict. There's a sense of entitlement to these settlers. They really seriously believe that the land that we are under, that we've been around, that we've been on, that we've lived in, that our heritage is built around, is theirs by God.
They were given basically M16s to anyone that wanted to go get.
Where do those M16s come from?
USA.
Yep, you heard that right. We are sending American guns to Israel, and they are getting handed out by guys like Ben-Gvir to Israeli settlers that then in turn use them to attack Palestinians, some of which are Palestinian Americans. And it got so bad that in 2023, the Biden administration halted the sale of rifles to Israel because of all these settler attacks. Ah yes, our greatest ally is using our own guns to attack Americans and innocent Palestinians. How wonderful. For those not familiar, Ben-Gvir is a far-right Israeli politician known for his bloodlust in eradicating Palestinians. He's the type of guy that enjoys wearing noose pendants on his shirt for fun. And here he is celebrating the recent law that legalized the death penalty for Palestinians. And this has widely been criticized as a racist apartheid law. As long as Ben-Gvir remains alive, he will be a guy that advocates for the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians entirely.
So the American taxpayer money is going to Palestine, to Israel, using it to kill Americans. Remember, our village is 80% American.
So me and you are both two American entrepreneurs who've paid a lot in taxes. What does it make you think when your hard-earned tax money is going to the death of your sons?
It kills you, knowing that your own money funded people that directly had something to do with the murder of your own son.
Dude, oh man, I could. You want to talk about the foreign aid, or you want to talk about the shadow money that gets funneled through shadow nonprofits,
which is multitudes of more money.
Man, so like I could just talk about the Central Fund of Israel as an example. I think 98% of all funding that went towards the settlement expansion project went through this specific 501c3. They are 501c3.
You can get a tax rebate for this. Like, the U.S. is really just a big fat cow for them to just suck dry.
Use and abuse.
Israel would not be able to do what it does. It would not be able to have the control that it has and function as a state without the free money that we're giving them every year.
Talk about the 1960s. The Israeli settlers, they moved in, they took over land, they took over people's homes, and still to this day, you have on camera Israeli settlers marching into Palestinian homes, sitting down, going into the fridge and saying, this is my house now.
What you don't know is that that's what Arabs do to them all the time.
You have video clips of that?
I can get you video clips of that, of course. I don't document it, but I know people who do.
I mean, unlawfully, we had Rabbi Levinger cross into Hebron and then go into an inn, tell the innkeeper he's a Swiss tourist, and then all of a sudden wake up and say he's not leaving. And that was the beginning of the settlements. How is that not clear theft?
In Hebron?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like literally the worst example you're giving, by the way, because Hebron is one of the smallest Jewish communities.
There's no incident ever in the history of Palestine where a Palestinian is just attacking an Israeli anywhere in the West Bank. Like, because to your point earlier, they shouldn't be there in the first place.
I mean, what can I say? again, this is going to be a hard watch for a lot of us because it's unbelievable what we're hearing here. It's not news to me because obviously doing research about the West Bank, etc. I've gone there, done that. You know, when I was preparing for my lives, I definitely did. But it's been quite a while since I haven't, you know, really done my research and stuff. And when you're sort of reminded of these things, it's like it shocks you, but it doesn't at the same time. It's a weird feeling. Seriously, it's a weird feeling. And when it comes to theft, right? Let me tell you guys one thing. When Turkey had the massive earthquake, I believe it was the beginning of 2024, I believe. Massive earthquake. There were countries that were coming because obviously so many places were impacted. So there was a lot of people that were coming to help from different countries: Spain, America, UK, so many countries, so many. Obviously one of these countries was Israel. You know, the aid workers that came to work in Turkey to help with the earthquake and to try and find people, you know, they came. I'm sure they helped as well, maybe. I'm sure they helped. But they actually stole certain artifacts from the east side of Turkey where there was some of the earthquakes happened. Because in the east side of Turkey, close to Syria, I mean, there's so much artifacts that are still in the ground. There's so many things. Every day they're digging and they're finding something. There's museums that have a lot of great artifacts, especially of you know, the three Abrahamic faiths: Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. And they stole an artifact that was like, I think it was like, one of them was like 700 years old. One of them was like 1,000 years old. Crazy. Like, literally stole it. And then they just went back. You can't make this up.
Tell me how the Israeli settlers violate international law.
The fact that they're there in the first place is a violation of international law.
There's no pressure by the international community to hold Israel accountable for anything.
Exactly. So what the hell does international law? What's that then? What's the point of having it then? They could not care less. They're doing whatever they want to do. You know, we've talked about like certain things that just don't make sense. For example, the UN. How are you telling me that if all the nations of the world come together and say yes to something, but one of the superpowers of the world says no, all of these other nations vote, it doesn't mean anything. It's vetoed. What the hell kind of democracy is that? But they love to say the word. It's democracy. Democracy. We are a civilization of democracy, the 21st century. It is all just show. It is all fake.
Israel has us by the throat, and we can't and we won't hold them accountable. And if anybody else, if any of the other Arab nations try to do anything to Israel, we'll sanction them, we'll remove their funding, we might attack them.
By international law, is it legal for these settlers to be in the West Bank?
100% yes. With a caveat that it is disputed.
Because in 1967, Israeli Prime Minister actually was against the settlements because he said it directly violates the Geneva Convention and international law.
In order to answer that question, you actually have to go to what is actual international law that is binding.
The Israelis control all of their resources there, the water, the electricity. For 1 day per week, they get running water. The other 6 days of the week, they have to live off of water tanks. You would see empty water tanks on the side of the building, but they had bullet holes in them. They would drive by and shoot up the water tanks so that they don't have water the rest of the week.
Here, even the water is controlled. Israel's national water company, Mekarot, holds a complete monopoly over the West Bank's water supply because Palestinians are forbidden from drilling deep wells and require Israeli permits to dig on their own land. They have to buy their water back directly from Mekarot or rely on bringing in expensive water trucks. Now, Palestinians are only given water every 7 to 10 days, so their roofs are covered in black tanks to hold water in case the supply is cut off completely. But if you look nearby at the illegal Israeli settlements, they are plugged into the same Mekarot grid, and they are given 24/7 access to that water to do anything from fill swimming pools to water their lawns in the desert. Folks, make no mistake, this water monopoly is just another weapon in this apartheid system.
But are you familiar with the water company Mekarot?
Mekarot, yeah.
Palestinians' own water supply, it appears that the Israeli settlers receive 82% of the Palestinian water, and that furthermore in the summer the Palestinians are they have a certain well distance they're prevented to digging from where the settlers are not restricted in that same manner, and that the Palestinians in their own land are restricted to water where the settlers are not.
I'm trying to take this seriously because this is literally the biggest sham that I've seen that goes out to people around the world. The nation of Israel, right? The country of Israel, pipe and pump water into the Palestinian PA-controlled area in the West Bank and in Gaza with zero compensation from the Palestinians that use that water. Every year comes to the Israeli Knesset and they dispute the money or the debt that has been incurred because of the usage of all the water and the electricity. So both the electric company, which is only one electric company in Israel, we provide free water, free electricity to the PA, and every year these companies bring the debt to the Knesset and say, this is the outstanding debt from years past, and the government basically says, tough crap, and you know what they do to compensate? They charge me more on my electricity and on my water.
Sometimes I just wonder, like, what would a true red-blooded conservative American that really does believe in the same values that we believe, right? Like, you know, liberty, justice, freedom, defending yourself, right?
Dignity, honor, just basic things.
It makes me wonder, like, what would they do if they were under the same circumstances, you know? Like, it's wild.
I'll tell you what they'll do. We did a lot for a lot less.
For tea.
We literally, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference, right?
Is resisting anti-Semitic?
Personally, I don't think so.
Why are these older Christians so captured and invested in Israel?
We need to talk about John Darby and his creation of the theological ideology of dispensationalism, which is the idea that God has two different groups of chosen people. He has the Christians, the church, and then he has the Jews. And so that's where Christian Zionism comes from, is from Darby.
Let's break down the mechanics of how Christians are actually funding this brutality you are witnessing. You see, Israel developed a brilliant plan. They do not have to convince the entire American public to participate in the settler movement. They just have to influence how our pastors think. What they do is fly thousands of pastors out to all expenses-paid trips to Israel. And when they get their message across, these pastors return to the United States, where they proceed to funnel hundreds of millions of dollars annually into the settler movement. And the reason pastors do this is they believe that Jewish settlement of these areas is necessary to bring about the second coming of Christ. So essentially, to fulfill this prophecy, they are willing to enable the persecution and suffering of thousands along the way. It's actually insane to read about Jesus in the Bible helping the sick and the broken, and then to look up and see these American churches funding a movement that does not seem to respect Christians or even obey the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property. I thought we had shared Judeo-Christian values. The cognitive dissonance is hard to understand.
So with that in mind, Christian Zionists think they have this fear.
That was literally the clip. Look. Wait, let me show it.
Christians or even obey the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property. I thought we had shared Judeo-Christian values. The cognitive dissonance is hard to understand.
So with that in mind, Christian Zionists think they have this fear through cognitive dissonance that if they oppose Israel for whatever reason, whether they're committing genocide blatantly in the open or not, they're turning their back on God. And that is deathly fearful to their mind, thinking to themselves, if I curse Israel, if I go against Israel, even if they commit a genocide, I'm going to go to hell maybe. They're just willful idiots to them. They don't care about Christianity. They don't care about Jesus. They hate Jesus. They don't care about America.
Guys, it is fascinating to watch Christian Zionists supporting Israel. After all, it is not going so well for Christians over in that part of the world. For starters, it appears it is culturally normal for Jewish adults and children to spit on Christians. And even Officer Tatum, a known Israeli mouthpiece, told Benjamin Netanyahu to his face that he got spit on when he visited the Holy Land.
We had only one incident where a small child
spit on one of the pastors.
And let's be real, Israeli spitting is the least of Christian concerns over there. The IDF routinely prevents Christians from worshiping, and Israel literally bombed the last remaining Catholic church in Gaza.
Tonight, a look at the damage to Gaza's only Catholic church after it was struck by Israeli artillery,
which resulted in the Pope calling the act outright barbarity. Folks, if you are pissing the Pope off, you have to be f***ing up big time. And the craziest thing to me about this is that American Christian Zionists are actively funding this. Their churches donate tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year straight to Israel. And it makes me wonder, are these people aware that they are raising
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. This is what the clip that Candace showed in her live. This was the clip of these people. I mean, again, I'm speechless that this can actually happen. Seriously, it's really... You sort of want to think, what is their mindset here? How can you be supporting someone that is doing that to your brothers and sisters in faith? And this is, I mean, there has to be more Candace Owens, more Tucker Carlsons, so that they can speak out against this. You know, there was someone that tried something like this in Muslim, like in the Muslim world. It was not good for that person, because when it comes to these things, Muslims are a little bit harsh because they don't. This is like a whole nother level of being unacceptable when you're somebody that is basically on the side of people that are sort of persecuting your brothers and sisters in faith. Yeah, it was not great for that person. Even the suggestion, people were outraged. So when I see, for example, in certain parades, they say, oh, Jesus is, I don't even want to say it, in certain parades, you guys know what they say. That's disgusting. That should, that definitely shouldn't be. There has to be a fine line of respect. I don't care who you love. I don't care who you want to be with. That's not my problem. We will all answer to God at the end of the day. But you don't go and disrespect other people's faiths and practices because you want to spread your message. And I've said this multiple times with regards to certain like comedians and stuff as well. Like I think they really do take it too far. I get it's comedy and stuff, but I will never forget one of the comedians in New Zealand when there was an attack at a mosque that killed 51 people in the mosque. You know, the guy that in New Zealand, I think it was the biggest attack that's ever happened in New Zealand's history. The guy literally just recorded the whole thing, opened fire on all these people, unaliving 51 people. And then, I think, was it the next day, or I think it was the next day, there was like a comedy show. And the guy, because, there's a good amount of Asian taxi drivers that are Muslim, right? He made a joke saying stuff like, when the attack happened, a lot of people were wondering, where is my cab, or something like this, made a joke like this. That person to me is a lowlife. That person to me was a scumbag, is a scumbag. There has to be a fine line of respect in certain moments.
Raising money for people that appear not to even like them. Blows my mind.
And to your knowledge, what do Jews believe about Jesus?
From what I've heard, he's desecrating human shit. Yeah, no, they see him as a false messiah, like terrible narratives about Jesus and about his mother, about Mary. They call her a whore, a harlot. They call Jesus that he's like a bastard, that he's burning in human excrement. They hate
Christians more than they hate Muslims. It is very true that if a Christian were to walk down some areas in Jerusalem or others, that they would be spit on.
Like you see, imagine a mother, a father, and children.
They tell, hey,
by
spit,
church.
there's a Christian.
Not even talking, they just do it together. They just all do it. It's like a common practice.
My name is Stephen Kapos, and I'm a child survivor of the Holocaust in Hungary, Budapest. I was in hiding on false papers, etc., which happened after October 44. Soon after, our location was caught up in the fighting between Germany and the invading Soviet troops. So we had double jeopardy. I think that's an important background to understanding Gaza, because I can relate to their experience both of the destruction and the fighting, as well as the insecurities of hiding.
Yes. Are you Jewish?
I am indeed, yes.
Would you consider yourself to be anti-Semitic?
Of course not.
And I don't either, but this is how you're going to be labeled and I'm going to be labeled just for speaking out about Israel. Have you gotten attacks like that before?
Yes, I have.
How ridiculous do you find them?
Well, totally ridiculous. But my family lost 15 people to the death camps.
In your assessment, do Israelis view Palestinians in the same way that Germans viewed the Jews?
Yes, I'm afraid, to some extent, unfortunately.
Can you imagine you survived the Holocaust, yeah? And then you seeing it take place to the very people that the Holocaust was taking place to. Now they are on the opposite side. That must be like a weird feeling. That's crazy. Amira says, if I went there and they did that to me, I'd be in jail. Yeah. The thing is, there's a reason why whenever people go there, Muslims or Christians, it doesn't matter, they're always subject to being in the airport for hours upon hours. So the trials start there. Being in the airport 4 or 5 hours doing checks, right? Checks. Yeah. But I think a lot of people that go on these groups, they obviously are reminded that, you know, basically don't do anything, don't say anything, because at the end of the day, you're going there, go and visit the holy site, speak to some people. I get what you're saying though. If I were to go, it will be very difficult. If you see some injustice in front of you, it's just, again, may God protect us all, because they're just waiting for that moment to find somebody and like have that situation where they can, you know, take someone in. Yeah, let's put this guy in a mental hospital. Can you imagine being in a mental asylum and you're just a normal guy? Like, seriously, I couldn't be in that area. Yeah, it's difficult, very difficult, extremely difficult. We definitely need to be very, very patient, and that's why, you know, again, saying that, genuinely speaking, that's one of the reasons why, if I were to not go, that would be the reason. There's no, how do you just sit back and, you know, when somebody, if I see someone harming an animal, I'm gonna go crazy. What if that's a human being?
Before we cover the details of your son's murder, can you say who your son was, what he was up to in Florida before he got killed?
My son actually was running the ice cream shop with me, 20-year-old. He graduated high school like 2.5 years ago. I'm kind of an entrepreneur also, like I've run clothing stores, I've done many kind of businesses and stuff like that. I guess he wanted to follow in my footsteps. We found this ice cream shop, so we kind of opened it, and he was running it the whole time. I lived back and forth between the West Bank and the States, and he was living here in Tampa, Florida, like permanently.
Can you describe what happened when your son got killed?
Basically, this summer, his son wanted to go and visit his mother his brother and sister and me. We were all in the West Bank. I said, it's fine, then you go ahead and go. This was back in June. So I told him, since you want to stay here for a little bit longer, I'm basically gonna have to go to the States and take your place. So I left on July 11th, seeing all these missed calls, and then I seen, you know, the group messaging going like bonkers. And I opened it up, and it's showing that the son of Camille, is basically missing or injured. I called up my son, my younger son, and he told me that Saif, your son, is unconscious right now, and something happened in the mountains. So I kept going back and forth, and I was like, someone tell me what's going on. No reply whatsoever. So I knew there's something more going on. Then I called my son Saif's phone, but the person that answered was not him. It was one of his friends, and he told me he's okay. At that moment, my son was unconscious. I was like, oh. It just gets me every time. What happened was that Israeli settlers ambushed these young people that were going there to the lands. They were beaten, brutally beaten. So what had happened is Saif was beaten, and he started running, and all the friends kind of dispersed. And on his way down, he basically found this tree. When he reached under this tree, he kind of lost it. His eyes were open, but there was no response from them. He stayed in that state for hours because the ambulance was prevented from the Israeli soldiers to come in. When they finally reached them, it was because, you know, the terrain is kind of rough in that area. The ambulance got as close as they can. They put him on the stretcher. My younger son seen this, and he told me, you know, Dad, basically 5 minutes before he got into the ambulance is when he took his last breath. The delay of the Israeli, army delaying to get to him, the paramedics or any medical assistance, you know, it had a big impact in the killing of my son. When they were on their way to the hospital, until finally, after about 30 minutes later, he called me up, and he told me, he said, Dad, I don't know how to tell you, but your son was killed, and Saifullah is gone. And I was like, the hardest moment of my life, because you don't expect that ever to happen to your own son, and you're always expecting that he's gonna bury you. His whole thing was to make me proud, man. That was his thing. I want to make my dad proud. I don't want to disappoint him. I was never disappointed, in anything he did, It's hard to tell me, man. It's just, because you miss him, man. 20 years old.
The Israeli settlers
Oh, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. There's nothing. Wait. Are we still live on TikTok? Are we still live? Okay. That was weird. Just, what the hell? Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is just, and this is just one story out of the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So many families impacted by what? Injustice. The other side, the oppressor, not seeing you as human. I couldn't live in something like this, seriously. How could you? For example, if something happens to you, the army is not allowing the ambulance to come and give you first aid, you know, try and save your life, try and take you to the hospital where they can look after you. How do you live in a place like this? How can you trust the police of a place like this? I mean, it's...
Are a cancer to the fabric of Israeli society. What do you think about that?
Completely untrue.
Do you think that would be anti-Semitic?
No. I think it's a political opinion that some people hold.
Yeah, the former Prime Minister of Israel, actually. That was the quote of the former Prime Minister of Israel, Yitzhak Rabin.
Sure.
So I feel like when I tell you violence that is happening today, you try and take it back to 2,000 years ago. I'm talking about the violence
2,000 years ago.
I'm talking about the violence happening right now in the West Bank, and especially in areas that are Territory A, that should be under full Palestinian authority. They are still being patrolled by IDF, and they are still being overran by Israeli settlers that are armed with American guns.
That's completely incorrect. So Israelis do not enter Area A, because if you enter Area A, it's punishable by Israeli law very heavily. Number one.
Well, I just want to get that quote. Israeli settlers are not entering Area A. That's what you're saying.
They are not. They should not be. It is punishable by Israeli law. That's a big legal problem. You're not allowed to do that.
These lands are our lands. It's under Area A, not under Area B, not under Area C, which is Israeli authority. No, these are land under Palestinian authority. These are lands that were passed down to us. And these Israeli settlers are going there since April.
What I can tell you is, you're talking about settler violence, right? And the statement that you just made about them being a cancer, I completely disagree with that, and here's why. Because, again, that's a political opinion from the left, and they're entitled to it, and that's fine. I mean,
your former Prime Minister said that. Your former Prime Minister said that. It's a Democrat
country, and we're allowed to have those conflicting ideas. That's fine. That's part of the democracy. I completely disagree with that as a security professional, as somebody who's been in Judea, Samaria. A lot of our politicians, ironically, have not.
That's another sleight of hand, by the way.
Other areas.
Referring it to as Judea, Samaria is a sleight of hand that Israelis are using to not be in the same ballpark about what we're talking about. No one else refers to it as Judea, Samaria except for the Israelis.
That's incorrect. I just sat down with the ambassador of the United States, Mike Huckabee, the other day.
The biggest Zionist in the fucking room.
For him to be like, yeah, Mike Huckabee, you are crazy. Are you talking about exactly as Tommy literally just said, the biggest Zionist? I mean, come on. We literally watched the full the full video, of Tucker Carlson and Mike Huckabee. And, I mean, this guy, I genuinely don't know how somebody can be so for another nation. Surely, people like this need to be investigated at this point. I mean, come on. This guy was... It's so obvious, the people that are bought. At this point, they genuinely need to do some merch or something and just wear a t-shirt.
In Samaria, there's no such thing as a settlement. Their communities, their neighborhoods, their cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
Can I finish my statement?
Yes.
Because that's kind of important. I don't know. Have you sat with the ambassador of the United States ever?
Go ahead.
So, being an honored guest at the U.S. Embassy here in Jerusalem, in our meeting, we actually asked him about this very term and his staffers, and they confirmed that yes, that is a term that some of the staffers use, and others use West Bank for clarity, because people they get confused because they don't understand these terminologies.
So I'm here at the site because I can't get close to the area that my son was killed because I fear for my life. These Israeli settlers are armed and dangerous, and behind me is the area that my son was killed. For 3 hours, having a hard time breathing with no help.
Let's break down some of these details. Number one, can you just describe how many Israeli settlers there were, how old you think they were, and did they hit him? Did they have sticks? Did they have, describe who this group was and what they did to your son?
They have this group called the Hilltop Gang or Hilltop Clan, and they're basically going around all these areas in the West Bank and trying to claim or put outposts saying that this is their land. They had clubs that day. There was one of his friends, he just had some major ACL reconstruction. He had his whole knee busted from in, out, everywhere. He's barely walking now. There was another guy, he had his head busted with all this, I think he had like 12 or 13 stitches on his head.
And what role did the IDF play in your son's death?
The IDF played a big role. Them preventing the ambulance to get to him earlier is a big cause, you know, in leading to his murder.
So if the IDF soldiers had simply let an ambulance treat a wounded person that was attacked, good chances are today he'd be alive.
Yes, 100%.
So this would be like if an innocent man was attacked by a mob and the very police that are supposed to protect him kept the ambulance from coming.
Blocked them completely, yes.
Are IDF soldiers supposed to protect the Palestinians?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why in this case would the
We're not supposed to. We're mainly supposed to protect Israelis.
Right, that's what
but
happens, yeah.
In carrying out that mission, we are also not allowed to harm others. So in other words, to avoid casualties from anybody, which would include Palestinians.
Would you consider it to be harm to block a ambulance from treating someone for over 3 hours that just got attacked by a mob of settlers?
Yeah, of course, if that's true. Yeah. How come you don't mention the killing of Benjamin Ahmair, a 14-year-old? He was killed in April 12th, 2024, during the war that we've been in. Why don't we mention, I don't know, and you said rocks isn't a big deal. If you recall in our conversation, we kind of discussed a little bit some of the talking points you wanted to cover. Well, just rocks killed Yehuda Shoam in 2001. It killed Jonathan Palmer and his son in 2011. Okay, these were people that just were commuting on the roads. It wasn't settler violence. It wasn't anything that you hear. Oh, and by the way, according to the United Nations reports that you're reading and that you're quoting to me about all the settler violence, this goes under the settler violence.
Why are you doing this for settler violence?
Because he was driving on the road. How is that settler violence? We cry for the one guy. We never talk about the other. There's two people here. In fact, there's many people here.
A few things. One, any innocent Israeli that gets killed that is a shame, and we are in agreement. However,
I swear to God, I was about to pause it and say something similar, which is any innocent person, I was just waiting for them to finish that, but any innocent person that is unalived, regardless of who, you know, their religion, their skin color, their background, doesn't matter. It's a tragedy. But we can say that. You're not saying that. For these people, again, I don't understand how these people can sleep at night. This is the issue we have with individuals like this. They only see one side and they don't see the other side. We can say that clearly. Any innocent life lost is a tragedy. Any innocent life lost is an absolute, it's devastating. But again, they'll say it, but through their actions, do they really mean it? How dare you say that the IDF is protecting Palestinians? Can you imagine making a statement like that? Hey, we're new to YouTube, so I don't really want to test the limits, but I could give a couple examples. Anyway.
The reason one side is more accentuated is because it's a sheer volume problem. When you have you said 2001, 2011, 2024. There's a lot of gaps. I'm talking about...
Guys, I know, thank you for being here, and you guys are listening. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Can we get the chats going, please, if you don't mind? Please, get the chats going. If the chat is either frozen or everybody's just listening and not saying anything. Comment your reactions to the video, guys, if you don't mind. Let's see. Is this frozen or is people just not commenting? Let me see. Who's going to be the first comment? On both sides. Bro, I'm actually thinking this is frozen. Because there's no way. You're not doing that, Amira. That's why I'm pausing.
Almost on a daily basis. Hold on. You spoke for like 6 minutes straight. I'm going to talk just a little bit, okay? It's the sheer volume of these things happening. Israel ambassador Mike Huckabee tweeted at Israel, and he's a guy that's as Zionist as you can get.
Yeah.
He even tweeted at Israel that it was a murder and that there needed to be accountability for your son's death.
Yeah, it was an act of terror, he called it. It's been 6 months. There haven't been any leads to the investigation. U.S. Department of State haven't. They did no investigation. The FBI didn't do an investigation, even though it's a U.S. citizen. On top of everything, me, my wife, my whole family have a security ban on us by the Israeli authorities. I can't even go through Tel Aviv airport anymore. I can't go to Ben Gurion airport anymore. I can't enter Jerusalem anymore.
Yes, you heard that correctly. Israeli settlers murdered his son, and the Israeli government responded by giving Kamal's family collective punishment. They can no longer fly into Tel Aviv, but rather have to take an extremely long route through another country to get to their land in the West Bank. Furthermore, shortly after his son's murder, he was threatened by the Israeli army that if he did not voluntarily come in for a DNA swab, that they would arrest him and kidnap him in a raid. So illegal squatters killed his son. The Israeli army blocked the ambulance from rescuing him, and yet they still continue to terrorize his family to this day. And this, folks, is textbook Israeli behavior.
Where's the accountability, let's say, for the murder of Saif Musalla?
I wasn't there. I know there's a lot of controversy on that particular incident. To my knowledge, he was up to no good. I actually get the actual report of what happened that the media did not tell, and you read the report and you're like, holy crap, it's completely different than what the media portrayed. Because the media wants a story. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. One of them being that you said that settler violence is overwhelmingly worse against the Palestinians. Yes, because the United Nations are the ones that they collect the information, they pump it to the media, and what they do is they fudge the numbers. They sometimes triple the number of cases where there's settler violence and or altercations with the Israeli security forces. You're looking at it from the way that you're looking at it, but I know the people that are living through it.
Do you agree with Mike Huckabee's assessment that it was a murder of Saif Musalla?
I don't agree with him because, with his statement, if you like, because it's an unprofessional statement if that's what he said.
As if your nightmare couldn't get any worse from your son getting killed, a few months ago, your nephew was brought into Israeli prison on the pretext of throwing a rock.
Yeah. They come to the door, banging on the door. My brother-in-law opened the door before they busted it because they don't give no chances. They're just, when they come in, he's thinking like, what the hell did I do? He's not thinking that they're coming for his 15-year-old son. They take him for allegedly throwing these rocks, take him to the Israeli military police, blindfold him, put him in handcuffs, and then that was the last time that the mother, father, brothers, sisters, anybody had any physical contact or seen him directly until the day that he was released on November 27th, I think it was.
Tell me the bullet points of what happened to him in that 9.5 months in prison.
He got scabies. He lost 25 pounds. He said they would make cards, playing cards, from napkins. And when the guards found those, they would take it and rip it and throw it away in the garbage. They would pound on them and then, give him a kick here, a kick there. Their food was so scarce, they would give him a meal that's for one person, but they would have to divide it between 4 to 5 people. When he came out, he was so pale, man. You can just see this kid has no sunlight.
He turned 16 while in prison.
He turned 16 while in prison.
So he had been beaten, starved, infested by bugs as a 15-year-old kid.
And the scabies just stayed. Even after he got out in November, he kept on itching.
And this is an American citizen?
This is an American citizen.
Where does he live?
Born U.S. American citizen, from Florida also. This is Saifullah's first cousin. My wife and his mother are sisters.
Generally speaking, how are Palestinians treated in Israeli prisons? It's an...
Still smiling. We literally connected with Naim on our main account, and again, he's somebody that is incredible. He literally showed us videos and where in his tent shrapnel entered and hurt him. He had to go to the hospital to get stitches and a removing of the shrapnel. In that very same tent, he has his pregnant wife there as well. Thank God they weren't really injured. But again, and he's somebody that has an incredible smile. May God bless these people and give them all the success of this life and protect them and give them the best of the next as well. These people that are struggling in this life, they are going to have the best of the next. They didn't have the best of this world maybe, but they have won in the long term. God willing, they have won. Because whenever I connect with him, he's got such a beautiful smile always, regardless of what's happening. He's always smiling. Incredible people, and this is how do you win against a group of people that, regardless of what you do to them, they always praise God, they get back up and they smile. There's no winning. They have already won. They have already won.
Known fact that before the 7th of October, things were pretty bad.
What's this guy's
Treated in,
wife and his mother are sisters.
generally speaking, how are Palestinians treated in Israeli prisons?
I'm gonna have to find this guy's YouTube account and then I'll share it with you guys, whoever wants to see it. So this is basically like a journalist in the West Bank. Basically, he uploads videos on YouTube. So I gotta find his name. If anybody knows his name, please let me know in the comment section.
It's a known fact that before the 7th of October, things were pretty bad. But after the 7th of October, the Shabak decided to start implementing tactics, torture tactics, where they use dogs to rape people. They torture them methodically, they don't give them food, they starve them on purpose, they beat them up methodically. And mind you, this is not just for older people, this is for 14-year-old prisoners or even younger that they have to face this treatment. It's concentration camps. The Israeli prisons are pretty much concentration camps at this point.
Every day from on top of my house, I can see the Batin area, which is the area that my son was killed. But I can't get there yet. Israeli settlers are still there, armed and dangerous. I want to know a little bit about this night patrol that you guys do every night.
لجنة حراسات سنجل شكلنا هذه اللجنة الحراسات من الاعتداءات المستوطنين المستمرة في هذا البلد. طبعا احنا جماعة متطوعين من حالنا طبعا، ولا من اي مؤسسة ولا من اي حدا، تطوع من اهل بلدنا، مختارين من اهل البلد. احنا لجنة مشكلة تقريبا 200 واحد، مقسمين حالنا 4 تقسيمات لحماية اهل سنجل واطفال سنجل ونساء سنجل وبنات سنجل. طبعا الاعتداءات مستمرة في البلد، كل يوم في اعتداء من المستوطنين.
That was the day that this night patrol started. Was after my son was brutally murdered and killed by the Israeli settlers on this mountain that I cannot even reach yet. I haven't reached my land yet since that time. So hopefully this will all be solved and some accountability will come to these settlers.
Folks, we just saw a snapshot of what is happening every single day to Palestinians. And we uncovered the murder of an American citizen, the imprisonment of an American citizen. And I think we have to start asking ourselves the question, what are we doing aligned with Israel? What are they doing in the world that we agree with from a humanitarian standpoint? And as I speak right now, we are 4 weeks into a war with Iran that arguably they got us into in the first place. And now we see announcements that Trump might send American troops to fight on the ground, but Israel will not commit to any ground troops. And we have to ask, is this really our greatest ally? And I think we all know the answer. How long are we going to back up what is happening to the people in Gaza, the people in Palestine, now the people in South Lebanon? How far is this going to go? I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want my tax dollars to be a part of it. And quite frankly, I'm sick of this. It's depressing to see this, but one way we can get involved is to help fund organizations like PalShield. So I'm going to donate. I encourage you to as well. It's time for us to wake up as a country and decide, who are we going to be allied with in this world? Who's going to help our international relationships? Because I think the clear answer is, it's not Israel.
Incredible video. What's that play? PalShield. Okay. Yeah, if you guys can, that would be great. I'll definitely. I mean, you know, we've helped a couple of these causes before. Definitely. You know, if you guys also can chip in something, that would be great. Every dollar, every pound always helps with organizations like this. Why not? We all need to come together and do our bit in society. So that's fine. Let me save this and then I'll do it after. Okay. Wait. Oh, it's gone. 2 seconds. Tommy G from YouTube, absolutely incredible, eye-opening. Even though, you know, again, this is things that I am aware of, it's still a very, very good documentary that he did. Very sad, of course. How you doing, Brandis? Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, this is very sad, extremely. And again, I mean, there's only so much that we can do because of, you know, the situation. Organizations like this, I've been saying for a long time, you know, I'm trying to get connected with Christian organization in Gaza. But the good thing is, for example, MATW that I predominantly use for donations, they don't differentiate. If there's a Christian family that needs help, they give, you know, they don't look at people's religion or their background when they're donating. They help everybody, which is great. But if there was a maybe a Christian charity and you guys know of them, then send it over, guys. Send it over. The goal is to do our, you know, to do as much as we can, you know, even if it's a little bit to all of these organizations. It really does go a long way. So yes, it's very sad. What can I say? It really does leave you speechless. Stuff like this, it really does leave you speechless. That how can this still be continuing? How is this still going on? How are all these big countries and leaders so silent about these things? How are these so-called leaders of this nation, of that place, doing all of this and nothing is happening to them? I mean, Tucker Carlson released the BB files, and in the BB files there was some shocking, I mean, we reacted to like maybe 20 minutes of it, but shocking things, and this guy is not in prison. Like, obviously what he's approved in Gaza, what he's done in Gaza is absolutely, you know, I mean, again, something that leaves you speechless. That is something that he should be in prison for alone, of course. But then when you look at all the things that were revealed in the documentary, crazy. You know, there's a prime minister, one of the ex-prime ministers of Israel. He's actually in prison right now for doing a lot less than what BB has officially done. All documented, everything. So I don't know. He's definitely well connected in that place. So yeah. What can I say? What can I say? Because that ex-prime minister, that, you know, I remember I watched a couple people do videos on that trial. Very quick, very swift, done and dusted, go to prison. When it comes to BB though, no. They're doing the interviews, they're doing bringing other people to do the interviews, they're asking very simple questions, they're not really going too aggressive with the questioning. Only good cop, there's no bad cop. It won't stay like that though. Injustice for how long, guys? Injustice for how long? It won't stay like that. It will not stay like that. And we will see it with our own two eyes. Again, we don't want any innocent person to be hurt. We will always be on the side of the oppressed versus the oppressor. But yeah, it's videos that it's videos like this that really is a wake-up call for every single one of us. So sad to see, and I was having a conversation with Sweet Potato about this as well, that our hard-earned tax money is going to, this. Not only does it hurt knowing that you're contributing to something that is, it's disgusting, but you then think, for example, if I didn't have, if I had my income tax, at least just one tax, if they didn't take income tax from us, it would change people's lives seriously. Just to have that extra money. But again, they could not care less. They'll rather send it away, and then we just, like idiots. I blame us as well. Because there's no unity when it comes to this. We're just, like Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? Just giving it. Okay, sir, no problem, sir. Yeah, you want extra? Yeah, let's give it, no problem. There's no unity when it comes to these things. So it will continue like that. It will continue like that. And for those who have to pay tax, like myself, is a great write-off for our next tax year. Their complicity has been bought, and they have been promised more to come when his mission are complete. And Mad Mike said, for Mike Huckabee, it was a very serious and meaningful documentary. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that nearly got me. Yeah, that's crazy. But again, by the way, the Palestinians, the Palestinian Americans that were in prison, did Mike Huckabee actually help them? Isn't he the representative of the US there? He is more representative of Israel to Israel. I mean, that interview that Tucker did, it was unbelievable, seriously. Crazy. Yeah, did he actually help them? One was unalived, and another one was sent to prison. Maybe we need to look at that. But beautiful people on YouTube and TikTok, I am not gonna leave TikTok. Look, I do lives every day on EAB World, and we come and we do the reactions here as well. I'm still gonna go live. I'm just saying, in the future, the goal will be not to do the reaction lives on TikTok, because again, I can't display anything. You guys can only hear it, and thank God that it's actually working out okay. The whole hearing thing, and we're not getting any notifications, so that's great. But the goal would be only to do it in one account, which we're doing YouTube. Somebody else also said in the chat, I saw it, are you not on Kick anymore? Well, we're just testing out YouTube, because YouTube is more accessible to people. On Kick you need to have an account, all this and that, but people already on YouTube have it, so we're just testing a few things out. As I said, tomorrow we will have another live, of course, but on Saturday we're going to be doing the true crime. I might do Saturday, Sunday true crime. I don't know. I'll let you guys know. Maybe Saturday, Sunday will be true crime. I love that you're on YT with the reactions. Brandis, thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's it's better. I think. Let's see. Can I call myself a YouTuber now? I think I can. Am I officially a live streamer? Well, I've been live since we've started, so how many months? In around 4.5 months, it will be officially a year every single day that I've gone live. So God willing, may God give us long and healthy life. May God bless us. May God protect us and guide us. And yeah, beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in, you guys on TikTok and YouTube. I appreciate you guys always. Thank you so much, seriously guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Mad Mike, David. Thank you so much, guys. Carmen Lena. Thank you so much on TikTok. Thank you so much, Amira, Brandis, Sweet Potato. Let me see. I've actually got a list here. Sweet Potato, Amira, Brandis, Moises, David, Christmas Fairy. Thank you so much, guys. And oh, the chat's gone. Okay. God willing, I shall see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's live, I'm going to be live. Look, the way that I do it, guys, is first I'm on EAB World, and then secondly we come and we do the reaction. So I'm going to try something different, a little bit different tomorrow, where I'll probably post about this twice. I'll probably actually upload a post regarding I'm on YouTube now, and just the whole schedule. I want to do a video where I can just upload this video whenever I want to remind you guys about the schedule. You know, we have the battles and the campaign push, regardless of what it is, on EAB World. We have content on EAB World, and then on EAB World Live on TikTok, we'll come hear the reactions. We'll have an audio live or reactions, and then the full live will be on YouTube. I'm gonna do something so that I can promote that on both accounts, and let's see what happens. Maybe we can have a couple more people here, but you people that are here, I really appreciate you guys. Again, you guys are the foundation. I love to use that word, and you guys are definitely a very strong foundation for me. You guys keep me going, so thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, I love you all. Thank you, and I shall see you guys, God willing, soon, very soon. Take care, guys. Bye bye. Oh. Adios. Wait, let me see. Is it? It's still on, right? Yeah, I think it is. Hey, good night. Good night, Brandis. Good night, everybody.